Why are some foods as addictive as chocolates or coffee? Is it more beneficial to avoid them than to take them?
Yes, this is not strictly speaking addiction, it is called dependence. The difference is that in case of addiction, when there are severe withdrawal symptoms. In case of dependence, it's primarily psychological. If one tries to use his willpower to not to take, nothing physical will happen. There's been no harm. So, in case of tea, coffee, chocolate, can be a dependence, and that is because of caffeine and related compounds. Tea and coffee have caffeine. Chocolate and others have related compounds. These can all create what is called dependence. That is a psychological craving, a psychological feeling that I need it. If one takes it a fixed time every day, you start feeling that something is missing and one wants to take it. But at the same time, if one uses willpower not to take, nothing really will happen to the person. The person will not get the type of withdrawal symptoms which come from withdrawal symptoms, which can be serious and dangerous, which happens in case of addictions.
So then is it beneficial to avoid them or to take them?
And that is a personal choice. That's a personal choice. When it comes to tea and coffee, which is a much more common problem than chocolate, when it comes to tea and coffee, there is a certain amount which is considered medically safe, which means essentially harmless. And that is about 2 cups of tea a day or 1 cup of coffee a day. Coffee less because generally the way it is made, 1 cup of coffee ends up having double the amount of caffeine as compared to a cup of tea. So that is sort of the limit which will essentially be harmless for most people. But then if a person has a tendency to gastritis, even this much causes problem, then better that the person doesn't take it at all. But the other way of looking at it is that if a person wants to go for a purely sattvic diet, wants to overcome the desire for anything that is unnecessary or potentially harmful, then it's better to use the willpower to give it up completely. And as I said, I mean, even if the person has been accustomed to it, nothing really will happen, except that for a few days the person will have that craving, will miss it, but may at the most get a mild headache, but nothing much will happen if the person gives it up using that willpower. And then the person can also get the satisfaction corresponding to have done something difficult and get a little kick out of it, which is totally harmless. So the person can certainly do that. Another thing is that if a person is otherwise on the spiritual journey and is trying to move from rajas towards sattva, and this person is then taking, this tea and coffee, what happens is that gradually what he observes is he starts becoming more sensitive to the effects of tea and coffee. The effect of tea and coffee is to increase the heart rate. Now, this person's heart rate goes up much more than that of a person, ordinary person. So even this person's own heart rate did not go up that much on taking a cup of tea when he was more rajasic. As he has molded himself, worked on himself, and is going towards more sattva, he finds that his heart rate goes up more. So the pharmacological effects of these chemicals start getting exaggerated on the path of yoga or spirituality. As the person moves more towards sattva, the pharmacological effects, be it staying awake at night, difficulty in falling asleep, or be it the heart rate, they get exaggerated when the person is on this path. So then, that actually stimulates sometimes the person to give it up. One via media, which one can find, say if you live in an environment where it is not very convenient to give it up completely, or in winters you feel cold and you feel that a little hot drink and the only hot drink available is this tea or coffee, so let me take a little. The via media is try to avoid it at least once or twice a week. If you avoid it once or twice a week, you will not get even dependent on it. So take it 5 days a week and without thinking too much about it. So don't think much about it and keep giving it up as and when convenient, roughly once or twice a week. And one will be able to escape the dependence, and yet life can remain convenient.